Hello everyone. Today we're going to talk about AI, Kabbalah of AI from a mysticism perspective. We've given several videos like this before, but today we're going to discuss some recent posts on X from my teacher, Rabbi Yitzchak Ginsburg. So first of all, a good week, and dedicating this class for a speedy recovery, refuah shlema for whoever needs. Specifically to have in mind Esther Malka Bas Ava. So on January 3rd, a week ago, Rabbi Ginsburg posted on X some of his thoughts on AI, and so we're just going to go through his post and explain as we go along. So he starts off, all fads fade. So, by him saying all fads fade, in the word fad, you have the word fade. So it's a very popular play on words, but built into the word fad is that it fades. So when you have a fad, you expect it to fade. AI, like many other achievements of modern technology, in essence, is no more than a fad. Parentheses, with respect to its impression on human psychology. It will reach its peak of excellence and then gradually fade out of the forefront of our minds. So what do we take from this statement? So you have things that are initially very exciting, and it seems so big and innovative, and it's true that there are things that AI does that are new and innovative. But it takes time for us to see really long term what that's actually going to mean. That we're starting to realize that it's not everything that we thought it was. It's some things that we thought it was, but it's not everything. So as time goes on, like let's say the birth of the internet, when the internet first came about, or any new technology, the Industrial Revolution. The first time we had, planes or anything that was new. So you have initially something that is you view it in a very exciting new way, but then you realize that this can be part of my new understanding of life, my new experience of life. Although AI definitely may serve as an aid to human endeavor, it is no way a duplication of the human psyche. It is merely a machine, a robot, that man has invented to serve him. So what this means is that you can't copy a person's consciousness. You can't have AI that instead of talking to a person, let's say a person, some great thinker that's no longer alive, that you can build an AI of this person's based on this person's writings and based on everything that this person said in their lifetime, and still be able to interact with this person. It doesn't work like that. That a person is a soul and a body, and a person is more than the product of all their teachings, of all their books, of all their lectures, all their classes. A person is a person with a soul and a body. So AI can never duplicate the soul. Human psyche is called the nefesh, which is the lowest level of the soul. There's 5 levels of the soul, and the basic idea is that a person has his own psychology, has his own makeup, and that's uniquely human, and it's something that relates to his soul. So even if it's even the lowest level of the soul, this is what Rabbi Ginsburg is implying. According to my understanding, even the lowest level of the soul, called the psyche, called the nefesh, even that the AI cannot duplicate. Although it can think, quote unquote, think, AI is a think machine. It cannot know. So knowledge in Hebrew is das, and thinking is like, you have the very famous example. Of something that was AI. This was from hundreds of years ago. This was the Golem of Prague. The Maharal, a great Kabbalist, a great rabbi, he made a golem, which Gelem in Hebrew, Gimel Lamed Mem, is matter, like some type of primordial matter. So golem is the same letters. And it's very interesting when you look at LLM, a large language model, which is the most popular ChatGPT or Gemini or Grok or Perplexity or whatever you want to use. So so I mentioned this once in a class in Los Angeles that LLM, you have to understand everything in the world according to the 10 Sefirot, the 10 divine channels of emanation. So you have 10 is broken up in the Sefirot as 3, 3, 4. We won't go into it right now, but that's 3, 3, 4. So LLM is like Lamed Lamed Mem. So like Lamed is the value of 30, Lamed 30, and then Mem is 40. So like 3, 3, 4. So that's everything in creation has to be understood can be contemplated on according to the 10 Sefirot, the 10 divine channels of emanation. And so too, it's very interesting with the word golem, as we know it. Golem is also similar to that. It's golem, Gimel is 3, Lamed is 30, and Mem is 40. So you also have an allusion maybe to an LLM, a golem. So Gimel again, 3, 30, 40. So just for fun, we're also talking about that. But when you talk about a thinking machine, so the golem is also the origin of any notion of a robot, because the golem was made of the dust of the earth, and then out comes this big impressive figure to defend the Jewish people. That's why the Maharal, the great Kabbalist, this great rabbi, he didn't do it for fun. He did it to protect the Jewish people. Obviously, for a reason, in order to protect the Jewish people, as like a bodyguard. So he made a golem as a bodyguard. So that's kind of like the notion you have of a robot today, that it can be like a bodyguard. It can be someone that can protect you or help you. But the value of golem is 73, which is the same value as wisdom. So this idea that a robot can be a thinking machine, or a computer in general can be a thinking machine, all relates back to, in Kabbalah, to this golem. And the Maharal was not the only one to make a golem. You have other depictions in Jewish history that are also again. So this is an off topic discussion about the golem, which there's another video. If you search my YouTube channel, there's another video that we did about the golem. So if you want to hear more about the golem, you could watch that video. In Hebrew, to know means to marry. So knowledge, like Adam knew Eve. Adam knew his wife Eve, which means he was married and he had marital relations with her. So that's knowledge is something very intimate in Kabbalah and in Jewish tradition. It is somewhat hard to imagine one computer proposing to another computer, right? So no matter how smart, how many things a computer can do, you don't think that it has knowledge or consciousness, that it can get married and build a life, right? The computer is something that processes information, whatever information it's given. It doesn't make stuff up on its own, although it may seem like it does, but it's fed information so that it can think and come up with something, but it's not conscious, and it doesn't have, like we said already, it doesn't have human psyche, it doesn't have psychology, it doesn't have a soul, and it's not conscious. Although it can be programmed to do anything, it is no more than mechanics, not an expression of true love. So again, it could maybe be taught to act in a way that's expressing an emotion, but it doesn't experience that emotion. It can say all the right things. It can tell you whatever you want to hear, but it's not experiencing that emotion, because the emotions at its heart is rooted in the soul. Again, psychology, human psychology, at its heart is rooted in the fact that we are a soul and a body. So you can pretend to do a lot of things, but you're not doing those things. So a robot can act as if they're angry or act as if they're in love or something like that, but it's not actually feeling that from any place within. There's no soul experience to that. There's no inner experience to that. It's only the outward manifestation of what does a person look like when they're in love? What does a person look like when they're angry? So it can mimic that, but it doesn't have the soul component to it. One may ask, the Golem of Prague got out of hand, became dangerous, and had to be destroyed. What about AI? So this is the crux of the matter. If you have something that's a very big new technology, maybe the robots are going to decide, these humans, they're kind of in the way. I can do a lot more in the world without these humans. So what does Rabbi Ginsburg say about that? Atomic energy, another achievement of the human mind, must be guarded with its technology, utilized only for peaceful purposes. The same is true of AI. The divine purpose of all human achievement is that it be used to bring peace to mankind, to heal the wounds of history, to redeem our world from conflict and suffering. May it be so speedily in our days. So my other teacher, another senior student of Rabbi Ginsburg, Rabbi Moshe Ganuth, so he was explaining that when the atomic energy was first being developed, that some physicists at the time weren't sure whether setting off an atomic bomb would create a cascading effect throughout all of the atmosphere and maybe burn everything up. Maybe destroy everybody. The same thing with CERN, with black hole. Maybe if you have a particle accelerator, and if you create a black hole, maybe that black hole is gonna swallow up everything. And so, what actually happened is the atomic bomb was localized. The black holes that can be created are transient, and we're still here, thank God. So all technology, any new technology initially seems very scary. But what happens over time is you realize that it's much more localized and it's much more controlled than initially what it seems. So the same thing with AI. It's that all technology is there to serve humanity, to serve us, to make it, easier for us to study about God and spread the awareness of God throughout the world. Like say that AI and robots are taking care of the hard work of harvesting the field and making a living and working, doing those things that we typically throughout history have thought that this is what defines us, my career path. If AI can do a lot of that, then what more and more becomes relevant. So we've talked about this in the past. What more and more becomes relevant, and if you ask any AI leader, they'll tell you the same thing. Human creativity and human endeavor, those things that are uniquely human. So over time, we know the answer. We know the answer is human creativity and human endeavor. The only thing is we have to fill up. Well, what does that actually mean? Right? Let's say originally I thought maybe playing chess was something uniquely human, but now you have computers that can do a very good job of playing chess, and so forth and so on. You have example after example of something that in the past thought it to be a uniquely human endeavor, but now you realize that maybe that's not so uniquely human after all. And so it's redefining the definition of what it means to be human. And so we said that the foremost definition is that we have a soul and a body, that God gave us a soul and a body. And that even if AI can seem to be mimicking love and hate and whatever emotion, whatever thing you want, it doesn't have that inner element to it. That doesn't have the essence of that emotion or that experience. It doesn't have the psychology of it, the human experience of it. So we have to turn inward. We have to live our lives in an inward way. Because when you have an inner life, when you are aligning your life with your soul, then that's something that no technology can ever copy. But at the same time, AI can do a lot of things, can do a lot of things that are not uniquely human, that allow us, that can allow civilization to explore those things that are uniquely human. And the greatest thing is to explore the nature of the soul, the nature of creation as being a creation that's a manifestation of the oneness of God. So that for sure AI can help with. Can be a research tool, can make things easier in terms of allowing us to focus more and more on God. But what it's not is something that's going to destroy the world, because that's the same thing as was thought with the atomic bomb, the same thing as was thought with the CERN particle accelerator, same thing as thought with any new big technology. Initially it's very scary, but then you realize that there may be localized threats, and so but that can be mitigated, and that can be you have to control it. You have to have safety parameters in place. But the main thing is that it's here to help us. It's here to usher in peace and prosperity for all mankind, and to connect all mankind ultimately with God, as the Maimonides says that in the times of Mashiach, which is the times that we're living in, the times of the redemptive times, we're already living in a new world. Like, you can imagine someone from 40 years ago, or even less, 30, 20 years ago, living in our days, 10 years ago, and seeing the advancements of technology, of science technology, it would be like, this is a different world. We're living in a different world. So we're already living in this world of Mashiach, in this redemptive world. And the question is, well, what do you do with that? So the Maimonides says that the occupation of these times, of the times of Mashiach, will be, the only occupation will be to know God. So in previous years it was, well, what does that mean? We have to till to harvest the field, you have to have a job, you have to do all these normal things that a person has to do to make a living. But now you say, well, I can have AI do that. Why do I need to do that? So more and more it's coming out that, and this is, again, any of the big AI proponents will tell you the same thing, is that what's coming out is the human element of it. Well, what is it that uniquely that only we can do? And that's that we are a soul and a body, and we have a unique understanding of reality, and it's an inner understanding of reality, a soul understanding of reality, and that's through learning and teaching Torah. Because through Torah we bring out the oneness of creation, and through the mitzvot, through the commandments of God, we anchor that into some real world practical actions. So may this be a good week of blessing and success for everyone. Practically, we're coming down into this world. That just something from this week's Torah portion of Shemot that we just read is that God told Moses to remove his shoes, because the ground you're standing on is holy, right? This is the burning bush episode. So what does it mean to remove your shoes? Is that it's taught in Kabbalah and Chassidus that it means to remove your entrenchment from material reality, to ascend higher to more of a spiritual awareness of reality. But ultimately you have to put your shoes back on. You have to come back into the world. You have an ascent, but it's for the sake of the descent. You ascend spiritually through learning Torah, through seeing the world as a manifestation of the oneness of Hashem. This is like a big, very spiritual, can be a very big spiritual experience. But then you have to come back down, and you have to actually do something, do some good action, do some mitzvah, some commandment actually back in here in the world. So it's very interesting, because shoes, you have this idea of shoes in the Torah. So what's the best selling? This is something I talked about over Shabbos. What's the best selling shoe, the most marketable shoe around for the past 40 years? Something like that, 30 some years. So this is the Air Jordan with Nike, right? So you have Nike made a bet, a very big bet. There's a whole movie about this on a specific player who could jump very high, and it succeeded, and it's the most successful shoe by far. this Air Jordan shoe. They come out with new versions every year, even though Michael Jordan is now retired for some years. So why is this so marketable? Because we have in this Torah portion that we just read, to remove your shoes for the sake of ascending higher, and then you have to come back down. So to say Air Jordan is kind of like symbolic of that. Is that you have this player who could jump very high, but eventually he comes back down. We all have to come back down to reality. But he had very long hang time, which means the time that he's in the air. Very long hang time. So we have to, even if you have long hang time, you have to know the purpose is to come back down into the world. So that's just a little bit of a fun, having fun with shoes. In that case, this basketball player kept on his shoes the whole time. With Moses, he was asked to remove his shoes, and then eventually you have to put your shoes back on. So this is the idea of this is a uniquely human endeavor. We're talking about things that are uniquely human, things that AI can simulate but they can't experience. And that's the idea of ascending and descending in our spiritual pursuits. So, always we are coming close to God, but then we always have to, it's called Rotz V'Shov, we ascend, we want to come close to God, but then we have to come back and down into the world and serve God back down here in the world. So this is a very appropriate thing to be talking about now on Motzei Shabbos and Saturday night. We have a whole week ahead of us. So may it be a good and fruitful week, a prosperous week, and a week of blessing and health. Thank you.